so much of research going on that almost every week there is a research article on meditation. This picture I took this morning of sun rising, and you all did Surya Namaskar, and I believe that Surya Namaskar is something which brightens your knowledge as well as keeps you in a good health. So we should always, do Surya Namaskar, which is an exercise as well as a prayer. So I was talking about the evidence in relation to meditation, and if you will be surprised to know, there are more than 3,000 articles on PubMed. PubMed is a research tool which most of the doctors use to find out evidence-based medicine. And almost, as I said, almost every week there is a new article coming on meditation. And the articles are not only about the changes in brain due to meditation, but also psychological benefits and change in cognition in these patients. So there was a study at the start of this year, which was a collaborative work between the UCLA and Australian National University, Canberra, in which they found that the people who do meditation preserves their brain. So it helps brain to slowly age. And they did this study on patients who were doing meditation for the last 20 years, and they found that their age-related controls as compared to them, their volume of the brain was much more. And they found that the old meditators' brain volume was less than the young meditators, but again, the volume loss was not as great as compared to people who are not doing meditation. So I can say that it helps in brain protection. So if you do meditation, your brain volume does not decreases to the extent of another normal person. The most fascinating thing about this study was that not only the areas which are helpful in attention and which you will think would be brain protective areas due to meditation, but the generalized brain volume was protected due to meditation. Now in Vedanta, we call mind as a mad monkey who is also drunk. So controlling mind is such a difficult task, and meditation helps with that. So there are studies done, and they found that the part of the brain which we now call as me center, or a self-referential network, which is a default mode network, and that's the part of the brain which is always working when we are, keep thinking, ruminating about the things, and self-referring ourselves, and that's going to affect make our mind more restless. And it's been found that if you do meditation, the default mode network areas reduce in activity, and you have better attention span. Now there were studies done in Johns Hopkins about meditation and how it helps in depression. And you'll be surprised to know the effect of depression was, if not better, was equal to the antidepressants. And the good thing about meditation is there is no side effect to meditation, and there are no interactions as you see with antidepressants. There was a study done in Belgium last couple of years back, in which this was the first study in which they found patients who were doing mindfulness-based intervention in Parkinson's disease. There was actual change in their brain structure, which is associated with Parkinson's disease. And this was a very groundbreaking discovery. If people don't understand what Parkinson's disease is, it's a disease usually which happens in old people, and it leads to stooped posture, slowness of movements, shakes in hands, and difficulty with walking, and later on there are cognitive issues. So in disease like this, which is degenerative, there is no cure, it is being found that meditation helps in these patients. It's also known that there is a condition known as mild cognitive impairment. There is a mild problem with your cognition or short-term memory issues, which later on can develop into dementia or Alzheimer's disease. And this can happen in half of these patients who suffer from mild cognitive impairment. If you start doing 15 minutes of meditation every day, that can help to prevent or slow the progression into Alzheimer's disease, which is a very substantial effect. There is no doubt with so many studies done in last 1 decade that there is a lot of plasticity of the brain, which means when there is an injury to the brain due to a brain injury or after a stroke, there is a lot of chance that the brain can recover. The healthy part of the brain can take up the function which is being disturbed due to the damage to the brain. And the way it works is amazing. It can make neural networks. And same is seen with meditation. Meditation helps brain to make neural networks. So I believe that meditation can help with all these conditions in which there is a brain loss or there is a brain injury like multiple sclerosis, stroke, degenerative diseases like Parkinson's disease, Huntington disease, and after stroke. Now, as medical students, we used to learn that personality is a non-modifiable aspect. So you can't change your personality. But in meditators, it's being found that they can change their personality. The negative qualities of a person can be diminished and the better qualities can increase. So there was a study done at Harvard Medical Center in 2011 in which they found that in 8 weeks of mindfulness-based meditation program, there was increased cortical thickness in the part of the brain known as hippocampus, which helps in learning and memory, while there was a decrease in the brain cell volume in the part known as amygdala, which is more active in anxiety, fear, and stress. So the parts of the brain which helps us for the positive attitude in the life increased, and the part of the brain which causes fear, anxiety, and stress decreased. So that means there is definite improvement in these traits in that people and also in the structure of the brain which helps with these traits. Now, we all know that we need attention and concentration, but we think it's a kids thing. Kids in school who are studying needs more attention, more concentration, but also at work we need that. And it's being found with meditation that it improves attention and concentration. Meditation also reduces anxiety. There are a lot of papers on it. There are papers on mindfulness-based interventions in which they have found that it improves in conditions like social anxiety also. It can also help with addiction, and there was a very interesting research done in US in which they pitted mindfulness against American Lung Association Freedom from Smoking program, in which they were taught different things by which they can quit smoking. And then there was another group who learned mindfulness, and they found that at the end of the training, the people who did the mindfulness program were able to quit and keep away from smoking for a longer time as compared to the people who didn't do this course. Then this program was extended to other people who were into drug addiction or alcohol, and it found to be quite effective. Nowadays, there's a lot of stress of moving meditation into schools. A lot of schools in US are doing the job. This is a picture from White House, Easter Egg Road, that every year since 2009 they are doing a yoga on the day of Easter Egg Roll in White House. There are some more pictures from the White House about this program going on. And I could see there is a stall from yoga bus who are teaching yoga to the kids. So I think if you want your kids to be involved, you can even join that program. And Rajendra also does, I think, one yoga session for kids, I believe in Mobile, I think. Yeah, which is a really good program. So I think we should begin. There's a lot of evidence about yoga and meditation which helps in almost all domains of life. And I have touched with some of these research articles which have been published in the last few years, but there's a lot more to it. It's not just the mind which changes, it's your endocrine system, immunity, general well-being. All this helps with yoga and meditation. And with this, all this evidence, a lot of celebrities are adhering to yoga, and a lot of big companies like Google, Apple, and Target are integrating meditation into their day-to-day program for their employees, which is really useful. So if you can take out a few minutes every day to do meditation, even 15 minutes is enough, and you will see that everything falls into place. Now my take-home message is just do meditation, yoga daily. So you can just do 15 minutes of meditation which can help. Also the other things which can help you improve happiness is to let go things, don't keep ruminating about things or think about things. Let go things, be non-judgmental, help people, do some charity, be with nature, switch off your mobile phones and apps and all those media which we are so much used to it and we are almost addicted to it, which actually helps us to be not finding the real reality within us. And listen to your body. If you can't do any of these, just do meditation and all those things will come through. Thank you, Sanjay.